Okay, girls, today's class is about God of Small Thing, and we'll do a critical analysis of God of Small Things through the post-colonial lens. So I'm sure that you all are very much aware of the post-colonialism and the operation and the whole process of post-colonialism. How did it happen? How did the natives respond to that? And what about the colonizers? Because we have already taken now 2 classes of post-colonialism, and I know it is somehow clear to you. Okay, can someone please tell me that what were the after effects of colonialism on native characters? Can someone please answer this question?
Ma'am, they have know their own life.
Okay,
अ,
okay,
मैम वो बिल्कुल उनके बिल्कुल सप्रेस हो गए हुए थे।
okay, very good, very
और
good.
वो जो
Any
है वो कह रहे थे कि इससे अच्छी, इस जिंदगी से अच्छी तो मौत है, जो मतलब एकदम फ्रीडम उनके पास बिल्कुल भी नहीं था।
Very good. And this thing was said by Jamaica Kincaid, okay? She said that physical death is better than this death that has happened to us because of the colonizers and this process of colonialism. Okay, very good. And what are the main post-colonial terms that we have discussed in our last lecture? Yes, please, girls. Anyone?
Ma'am, ma'am, that were hegemony. That
Okay,
means the oppression by the consent of people, and other
okay,
one is the hybridity, that amalgamation
okay.
of two different cultures. That
Very
was given
good.
by Homi Ke Baba. These are
Okay,
the
great.
different things, and othering to
Okay.
some to con some to consider something inferior.
Very good. Now, keeping those terms that we have done in your mind, we are going to discuss this text, okay? So I asked you just to go through some of the chapters of God of Small Things so that you can get a good idea about it. Have you done that? Does anyone know about the God of Small Things as it is written by Arundhati Roy? Anything about the novel?
Ma'am, The God of Small Things is a novel written by Arundhati Roy. Is about the life after post-colonialism in
Very
India.
good.
That how people face different things, how they face identity crisis and superiority, and the influence of British people on themselves.
Very good. Okay. Okay, girls. God of Small Things is written by Arundhati Roy. She is a contemporary writer living in India. Okay. And this is the first novel written by her. And this novel is published in 1993. Okay. It's a very, even that it's a very important novel, specifically when we talk about post-colonial studies. This novel has a great significance in terms of post-colonialism. The very title of this novel says The God of Small Things. What do you think if you just try to analyze the title of the novel, keeping in mind the post-colonial theory? What do you understand by that? God of Small Things.
मैम, they rule over natives.
Okay, good.
Ma'am, they become god of the natives.
Very good. Okay, good reflection. Anyone else? Okay, very good, girls. Nice answers. Okay, let's move to the chapter 1. The significance of the title we will discuss when we discuss all the small things that are discussed in the novel and all the big things that are also discussed in the novel. So by comparing the small things and the big things, we will discuss the title of this novel, that is The God of Small Things. Okay. So the main aim of the writer is to show you that it is not only the big things that matter, the small things have their own significance and they do matter. And the small things, in fact, makes the difference. Okay. Now let's move to chapter 1, which is Paradise Pickle and Preservers. Okay, before, let me share my screen with you. I hope you have the novel. I have sent you the novel, right? Yes, girls? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so it is the first chapter. Before going to study the first chapter, let me give you a little summary of the novel. We have two main characters in this novel that are twins. One is boy and girl, Esther and Rahil. Okay, the whole story revolves around them. And related to these two main characters, we have other characters who are their relatives, like Amu. We have Amu. Amu is the mother of Esther and Rahil. Then we have like this is the whole family is Amu's family. Okay. Amu's father, Papachi. Then we have Amu's mother, Mamachi. Okay. And then we have Amu's brother, Cheku. Is it clear? And then we have baby Kuchama, who is Amu's aunt, the daughter of, the sister of Papachi. I hope it is clear. These are the main characters and the whole story revolves around them. Esther, Rahil, twins of Amu, and Amu is the daughter. Amu and Cheku are the kids of Papachi and Mamachi, and there is another character at their place who lives with them is Baby Kuchama. Baby Kuchama is Papachi's sister. Okay, the whole novel revolves around them, and we also find the novel. The write-up of the novel is very beautiful because it tells us a story of the past, then it jumps from the past into the present. Okay, like the writer sometimes narrates the story of 1969, okay, when Rahil and Esther are only 7 years old. Okay, and then it jumps back to the contemporary time, which is 1993, okay, when they are now mature enough and they are adults. Okay, so we find the story going to their childhood and that now to the present times when they are adults. Okay, so the story is like they live in Kerala, which is in India. Okay, and it's in Aminam. The town name is Aminam. So they tell us a lot of the Aminam life, the cultures there, um, and also the influence of the English people on these natives when now they have got their freedom from the colonizers, but still, like after 40 years or maybe more than 40 years, they still have the glimpses of colonialism. Okay, we find that even now the natives, after 40 years of getting freedom from their colonizers, they still feel themselves captivated by them. Okay, they still want to adopt the identity of a colonizer by considering him or them as the superior ones, by adopting their language, by adopting their culture, by adopting their religion, their dressing code, each and everything. And that all is reflected in these characters, the ones that I have just named. Okay. So the chapter 1, which is titled as Paradise Pickles and Preservers. This is the title. This is in fact a company. It is a company which makes pickles and jams. And this company, the owner of this company is Mamachi. You know who is Mamachi? She is Amu's mother. Okay. She is the owner of this company, which makes jams and pickles. Okay. So we come to know that in this chapter, we find as Rahil, who is 31 years old now, and she's coming back from US to her place India, Eminem, okay, after many years. And we also find through Rahil that Esther, who was not living anymore in Eminem, is also coming back. So I told you they are twins, okay, brother and sister. Rahil, the sister, Esther, the brother, right? I'm going to read the first chapter, okay, which is Paradise Pickles and Preservers. May in Emanam is a hot, brooding month. The days are long and humid. The river shrinks and black crows gorge on bright mangoes in still, dust green trees. Red bananas ripen, jackfruits burst. Dissolute blue bottles hum viciously in the fruity air. Then they stun themselves against clear window panes and die, fatly baffled in the sun. The nights are clear, but suffused with sloth and sullen expectation. But by early July, the southwest monsoon breaks, and there are 3 months of wind and water with short spells of sharp, glittering sunshine that thrill children snatch to play with. Okay, so this is Rahil who is telling us about all the atmosphere of Eminem, which is a very natural environment. She's talking about the fruits which are ripen and what kind of month is it, what type of nights are there, okay, and how is the month of June and July there in Eminem. Okay, so simply the writer has started her novel with giving us a description of nature. Okay. And then we move forward with, in my book, it is page number 4. Okay. Just move forward. You also have, I suppose you have the book I have already given you if you check it. And let me just check it in here. You see here the house itself. The house, now she is talking about the house. Which house? The house where they used to spend their childhood, Esther and Rahil, the house in Eminem. Okay, the house itself looked empty. The doors and windows were locked. The front veranda bare, unfurnished. But the sky blue Plymouth with chrome tail fins was still parked outside, and inside baby Kuchama was still alive. Now this is Rahil who has come back to from US to Eminem, and she's talking about her house, the house where she used to live as a child. Now she is saying only one person is alive, rest of them all dead. Cheku, their uncle, is dead. Amu, their mother, is dead. Papa Chi, their grandfather, is dead. Mama Chi, their grandmother, is dead. Who is only alive? That is baby Kuchama, and she's still living there. Okay. She was Rahil's. Now, the narrator is telling us about Rahil's baby Kuchama and her relation with Rahil. She was Rahil's baby grand aunt, her grandfather's younger sister. Her name was really Naomi Ibe, but everybody called her baby. She became baby Kuchama when she was old enough to be an aunt. Rahil had not come to see her, though. Neither niece nor baby grand aunt labored under any illusions on that account. Rahil had come to see her brother Esther. They were two egg twins, dizygotic, doctors called them, born from separate but simultaneously fertilized eggs. Estepan was the older by 18 minutes. Okay, they never did look much alike each other. Esther and Rahil, and even when they were thin-armed children, flat-chested, warm-ridden, and Elvis Presley puffed, there was none of the usual who is who and which is which, from over-smiling relatives or the Syrian Orthodox bishop who frequently visited the Eminem house for donations. Okay, so the confusion lay in a deeper, more secret place. In those early amorphous years when memory had only just begun, when life was full of beginnings and no ends, and everything was forever, Estapan and Rahil thought of themselves together as me and separately, individually as we or us, as though they were a rare breed of Siamese twins, physically separate, but with joint identities. Now, these years later, Rahil has a memory of waking up one night giggling at Esther's funny dream. Now, Rahil is back, and Rahil is talking about Esther, and she's also telling us that she's not back for her baby Kuchama, who is living in the house, who is the only person living in that house, okay? And because neither baby Kuchama is very fond of Rahil, nor Rahil is fond of baby Kuchama. The story behind that is when they were kids and living in Eminem, at that time, baby Kuchama was very, very much harsh on them. Okay. Baby Kuchama, the story about baby Kuchama is that there was a Father Mulligan. He used to live there. Okay. And baby Kuchama was in love with that father. But father was not at all attracted towards her. One thing. Secondly, since he was a religious person, so he was not showing any interest. Baby Kuchama, she used to do each and everything to attract the father, but he did not pay any attention towards her. So disappointed, what happened with baby Kuchama? She left for US for education and got a master's degree in gardening. Okay, from there, and now she has come back and living in Emina. Now she was very much influenced by English language. She wants Esther and Rahil to speak English, okay? And she's very harsh on them by doing that. Even if they speak a single word in native language, she punishes them and she asks them to write that letter 100 times, okay, in a notebook. Fine. So she's that much harsh on them. And she's all the time concerned with one thing, to correct their pronunciation. Whose pronunciation? Esther and Rahil's pronunciation. Now, this is one thing which is very much related to post-colonialism, that how after once they have left the colonizers, they left the native people in an identity crisis. This is an identity crisis that baby Kuchama, who is a native character, she cannot, she doesn't feel proud of her own language. Rather, she wants the babies to learn, these kids to learn English language, because according to her as a native character, English is superior language. So if these babies who are just 7 years old, speak English language, their family will be considered superior. Okay. So Englishness, according to them, is something that is related to being superior. Okay. So this is something about baby Kuchama, that neither Rahil is very much in love with her, nor baby Kuchama is very much fond of them. And she was very much annoyed when Amu, Rahil's and Esther's mother, got divorced, okay, from their father and came back to live with her family. She was the one who was very much unwelcoming. She did not want Amu to live with them, and she did not have any kind of love for Esther and Rahil. Okay. Secondly, the narrator is telling us about, in the paragraph that I have just read about Esther and Rahil, that how they refer we, okay, and me word or us word for each other, okay. So they are physically separate but with joint identities. So even if, like writer here shows that if something goes wrong with Esther, Rahil feels that. Okay, even if she is not aware, there is one incident that happens in Esther's life where Rahil was not present there with him. But Rahil has felt that thing, okay, because they are twins. Okay, let's move forward. Now she's telling us, now these years later, Rahil has a memory of waking up one night giggling at Esther's funny dream. She has other memories too that she has no right to have. She remembers, for instance, though she had not been there, what the orange drink, lemon drink man did to Esther and Abhilash talkies. She remembers the taste of the tomato sandwiches, Esther's sandwiches, that Esther ate on the Madras mail to Madras. Now, the writer is telling us that they are so much related, that Rahil, she feels what Esther feels. And then some of the memory where she doesn't have any right to have about Esther. Those are secret memories of Esther, but even then she knows those, okay? She knows those about those things. It is not so that Esther has told her about that. And then she's giving one example. The writer is telling us about orange drink, lemon drink, man. Uh, that has something related to this man has happened to Esther. In Abhilash Talkies is a theater, a cinema where they have gone to watch a movie. Okay. They were going to go to the airport, the whole family. Esther was making noise there. So the mother got irritated. Esther was so hyper and happy for the movie which they were about to watch in the cinema, that he was singing very much loudly and disturbing the other people. Okay. So Amu asked him to go outside and wait in the lobby. So when Esther went into the lobby, now remember, he's just 7 years old. Okay. When he went in the lobby, he found a man with his cart who is selling the drink, the lemon drink and orange drink. Okay. Now that man started talking to him, and he he kind of did something wrong with Esther. Okay. You can say a physical abuse. Okay. He asked Esther to touch his body into the wrong places, which has become a kind of trauma for Esther. Okay. And after like coming back from there, Esther started, he becomes very much ill. He starts vomiting and he's not right. Now, Rahil at that time was not there with Esther, but she knows what has happened with her twin brother. Okay. And also she knows that how does the tomato sandwich taste that Esther eats. So simply now she is thinking of her childhood memories and about Esther, that how she knows what her brother does because he's a twin brother. Okay. And then she says, the writer refers to these are only small things. Anyway, now she thinks of Esther and Rahil as them, because separately the two of them are no longer what they were or ever thought they'd be, evers. Their lives have a size and a shape now. Esther has his and Rahil has hers, because now they after some incidents when they were 7 or 8, they were separated for more than 20 years, and after 20 or 25 years now they are reuniting again or meeting again. Okay. Edges, borders, boundaries, brinks and limits have appeared like a team of trolls on their separate horizons. Short creatures with long shadows, patrolling the blurry end, gentle half moons have gathered under their eyes, and they are as old as Amu was when she died, 31. Not old, not young, but a viable, diable age. They were nearly born on a bus. Okay, now you can understand that how the story is going, traveling into past and then coming back to present. So they were nearly born on bus. When their mother was pregnant with them, she was traveling and they were about to be born on a bus, Esther and Rahil. The car in which Baba, their father, was taking Amu, their mother, to hospital in Shillong to have them broke down on the winding tea estate road in Assam. They abandoned the car and flagged down on a crowded state transport bus with the queer compassion of the very poor for the comparatively well-off, or perhaps only because they saw how hugely pregnant Amu was. Seated passengers made room for the couple, and for the rest of the journey, Esther and Rahil's father had to hold their mother's stomach with them in it to prevent it from wobbling. That was before they were divorced and Amu came back to live in Kerala. So this is how then the father has taken the mother to hospital and then they were born. According to Esther, if they'd been born on the bus, they'd have got free bus rides for the rest of their lives. It wasn't clear where he'd got this information from or how he knew these things, but for the years the twins harbored a faint resentment against their parent for having diddled them out of a lifetime of free bus rides. So for a long period of their lifetime as their kids, they hated their parents that why they have just didn't give them opportunity to get free bus rides. Why did they get born in hospital, not on the bus? Okay, this is a pun of Arundhati Roy that she does to this story. The whole novel is in fact a very, very tragic novel. So this type of things she brings in to bring a little smile on the faces of her readers. Okay. We'll do this first chapter in detail because I want you to be familiar with the writing style of Arundhati Roy. Okay. And then I'll let you know the main incidents that happened. They also believed that if they were killed on a zebra crossing, the government would pay for their funerals. They had the definite impression that was what zebra crossings were meant for. Free funerals. Okay. What are these zebra crossings for? For funerals. Which type of funerals? Free funerals. Of course, there were on zebra crossing to get killed on in Eminem, or for that matter, even in Kottayam, which was the nearest town. But they'd seen some from the car window when they went to Cochin, which was a 2-hour drive away. The government never paid for Sophie Mall's funeral. Now see, when they talked about a funeral, another character has popped in, that is Sophie Mall. Sophie Mall is Cheku, who was their uncle, Rahil and Estha's uncle, and Amu's brother. His daughter. Now, Sophie Mall's story is that Cheku went to to England for his studies. Okay, so he got married to a lady, Marguerite, an English lady there, Marguerite. Okay, because of the difference in their cultures, they could not settle down. Marguerite was not able to accept what Cheku was having, and Cheku was also not able to accept what traits Marguerite's were having. Okay, so simply like Marguerite was having a habit that everyone has to do their work themselves, either men or women. Okay, but Cheku, coming from a South Asian region, he was not habitual of these things. Like in their culture, man was something like a god, or you can say a king, who doesn't do his work by his own hands. Okay, so this thing has just made Marguerite very much offended. And also Cheku, who was expecting this thing from Marguerite to do his works, to obey him, okay? As in this region of the world, the wives do. She could not do that. So Cheku was also offended. So they got a daughter, Sophie Mall, but their marriage was not successful. So Marguerite just got divorced from Cheku, and she got married to another man, Joe. And Cheku left England and came back to Eminem to work in his mother's pickles factory. Now, what happened that Cheku comes to know that Joe has died. Joe, the second husband of Marguerite, okay? So he just wants to see his daughter. He invited Marguerite and Sophie Moore both to India, okay? So Sophie Moore and Marguerite, they come here, and then in a very sad and tragic incident, she gets drowned, Sophie Moll, okay, in water, and she dies. Now, Rahil is talking about her funeral, which is happening in Eminem. Okay, so she's saying the government never paid for Sophie Moll's funeral because she wasn't killed on a zebra crossing. She had hers in Eminem in the old church with the new paint. She was Esther and Rahil's cousin, their uncle's Cheku's daughter. She was visiting from England. Esther and Rahil were 7 years old when she died. Sophie Moll was almost 9. She had a special sized coffin, brass handle shine. She lay it in her yellow crimplens bell bottoms with her hair in a ribbon and her made in England go-go bag that she loved. Her face was pale and as wrinkled as a dhobi's thumb. from being in water for too long. Now, this word dhobi's thumb, highlight these words, okay? Dhobi's thumb, in post-colonial terms, when the writers, okay, they use their own native language and mix it with English language, we call it appropriation of language, okay? They give a native touch to English language, so it is called appropriation of English language. So this dhobi is not an English word, okay? It is a native word. She has used dhobi's thumb. This we call it appropriation of language. So dhobi's thumb from being in water for too long. The congregation gathered around the coffin and the yellow church swelled like a throat with the sound of sad singing. The priests with curly beards swung pot of frankincense on chains and never smiled at babies the way they did on usual Sundays. So this is the funeral of Sophie Moll. She was drowned. And one thing that you need to notice here is this, even the Christianity, the religion, Christianity as a religion is a gift of colonialism. Okay. Because before that, there were Hindus and Muslims. There were no Christians in this part of the world. Okay. So it has probably there were, but with a very low percentage. Okay. But if we read the post-colonial theory or history or literature, we come to know that Christianity also is a gift of the colonizers because they used to just a minute, please. Okay, so Christianity was also a gift of the colonizers. So this all funeral which is getting placed in a Christian way is also something that is very much related to colonialism. Okay, so this incident also highlighted as a post-colonial theme which is coming in the novel. Okay. And then we have the long candles on the altar were banned. The short ones were not. An old lady masquerading as a distant relative whom nobody recognized, but who often surfaced next to bodies at funerals, a funeral junkie, a latent necrophilic, put cologne on a bed of cotton wool and with a devout and gently challenging hair, dabbed it on Sophie Moll's forehead. Sophie Moll smelled of cologne and coffin wood. Marguerite Kuchama, Sophie Moll's English mother, wouldn't let Cheku, Sophie Moll's biological father, put his arm around her to comfort her. The mother is very much annoyed. Marguerite is very much annoyed, and she doesn't even let Cheku to comfort her because her daughter has died. Why? Because for the very first time, she has come to India to visit, and she has lost her daughter. The family stood huddled together, Marguerite Kuchama, Cheku, baby Kuchama, and next to her, her sister-in-law, Mamachi, Esta, and Rahil, and Sophie Moll's grandmother. Mamachi was almost blind and always wore dark glasses when she went out of the house. Her tears trickled down from behind them and trembled along her jaw like raindrops on the edge of. She looked small and ill in her crisp off-white sari. Cheku was Mamachi's only son. Her own grief grieved her. His devastated her. Though Amu, Esta, and Rahil were allowed to attend the funeral, they were made to stand separately, not with the rest of the family. Nobody would look at them. Now remember this thing that the funeral is going on, all the relatives are there, but you know who is not allowed to stand with them is Amu, Esta, and Rahil. They separated them as if they are untouchables and they are someone very inferior. Okay. And nobody is even looking at them. Okay. So there is again another story behind this, that why are they showing so much indifference to them. The kids, can you please go out because I'm taking a class? Okay, just take it out. Take it out. Take it out. Okay. Sorry, girls. So Amu, Esta, and Rahil, they are cornered because of an incident, and that incident is that there is a character, Veluta. Veluta works in that factory, the factory which is owned by Mamachi. Now, the problem with Veluta is that he is from the lower caste. And you know that in India, they just give importance to the high race. This a lot of racism is there, okay? And lower caste is the one, they are the untouchables. They call them the untouchables, and it is not even allowed to them to talk to them. Now, Amu, after getting divorced from Baba, from her husband, in Eminem, she gets in love with Veluta. Now, Amu is from elite class. They are the rich people of their surrounding and of their town. So it was not even allowed to them to talk to the untouchables and someone like Veluta. Okay, so she had physical relationship with him too, and Esther and Rahil, they were also very much